My name is Sammy Ijaz and I am the host of House of Commons. Welcome to House of Commons. House of Commons is a talk show that takes current MPs that are elected, brings them onto the show and talks to them why they should get re-elected, and brings the candidates that are running against them to see why they're actually challenging the already elected MP. Now, बहुत सारे हमारे पाकिस्तानीज रन कर रहे हैं, कुछ दो हमारे इनकम्बेंट पाकिस्तानीज हैं जो एमपीज के लिए रन कर रहे हैं. आज हमारे साथ ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं वन ऑफ दोज एमपीज सलमा जाहिद. सलमा जाहिद, वेलकम टू द शो.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी, थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी.
नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. सलमा, मैं आपको लेके जाता हूं आपकी प्री पॉलिटिकल करियर लाइफ पे. आप मुझे बताएं कि आप कहां पैदा हुई, कहां बड़ी हुई, कहां स्कूल गई.
मैं जी पैदाइश मेरी यूके की है.
अच्छा.
कॉवेंट्री शहर में मेरे वालिद उस वक्त वहाँ पे कॉवेंट्री स्कूल ऑफ एजुकेशन में पढ़ रहे थे.
अच्छा.
तो लेकिन आई वाज जस्ट 3 months old जब मैं पाकिस्तान वापस चली गई. सो आई वाज रेज्ड इन पाकिस्तान एंड व्हेन आई वाज 24 then I went to UK to do my masters in educational management and administration from UK.
Right.
Institute of Education, and then I came back after and then got married and came to Canada in 1999.
Nice. And stayed here ever since?
Yes, so this October 15th it will be 20 years since I landed at
Very
Pearson
nice.
Airport.
Very nice. अब मुझे ये बताएं, in 2015 you made a very hard decision to run for the federal elections. अब मुझे ये बताएं कि how difficult was that decision और उस टाइम पे आपका क्या प्लेटफॉर्म था?
देखिए, मैं 1999 में जब मैं यहाँ आई थी तो मैं शुरू में 3-4 साल मैंने जॉब नहीं की क्योंकि बच्चे मेरे छोटे थे. सो आई वाज अ स्टे होम मॉम टू लुक आफ्टर माय किड्स. वी मेड अ डिसीजन एज अ फैमिली के आई थिंक इट्स टाइम दैट द किड्स नीड मोर. सो education has always been very close to my heart. My father has been a teacher for 35 years in Pakistan Army.
Right.
तो वो बड़ा जो है ना, I have a passion for that.
Right.
So when my elder son started going to school, so I got involved in the school council and I became the chair of the school council. So back in 2002 when he was going to senior kindergarten, we used to live in downtown Regent Park. That was our first home. That's where we started our life.
Right.
So that school, Regent Park Duke of York School, was identified as one of the priority neighborhoods. And at that time, they had a full-day senior kindergarten. Back in 2002, the Conservatives were in power in Ontario.
Right.
Harris government was putting cuts to education. There were strikes.
Right.
So, school days were being lost, so they were cutting.
And that's where you felt like, you know what?
I went to the principal and said that this is too much.
Right.
We came here for a better future for our kids.
Right.
And if we start seeing that here, so he said, oh, like I don't have control, but it is the provincial government. At that time, I had no idea about Canadian politics.
Right.
So I went to see my provincial member of parliament, who was George Smitherman, the Liberal rep. So met him for that.
Right.
And from there, I think that was a stepping step into the politics of Canada.
Right. Now, have you always been a Liberal?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think
Since
my values are what the Liberals believe in. So I believe in liberal values, and these are my values, and I am a liberal. I was born, I think, liberal, and I will die as a liberal.
Right. Now tell me what liberal policies you feel that most viewers would be affected by and that benefit them the most.
See, I got involved into politics to fight against cuts to education.
Right.
Okay. And then since then I've been working with the Liberal Party. But back in 2013, I made the decision that I will throw my name into the hat here for Scarborough Centre riding, because my community's voice was not being heard in Ottawa.
Right.
So the life of the middle class people was becoming more and more difficult. It was becoming difficult for them to make their ends meet.
Right.
There were a lot of a politics of division and fear was there at that time.
Right.
We were classified as second-class citizens.
Right.
The issue of niqab was in the courts.
Yes.
So there were few issues where I felt that there is no one to talk about the community I live in.
Right.
So that's why I decided. And it was not a difficult decision. I have always been a liberal.
Right.
And my values aligned with what the liberals believed in. And around that time, our leader, Justin Trudeau, became the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada.
Yes.
And he talked about the middle class people.
Yeah.
So, and he talked
And that was a good first step.
So, and he talked about the two things which really impressed me from during his leadership was
Right.
he talked about building an inclusive Canada where everyone feels that they are part of it.
Right.
And he talked that he will make life better for the middle class.
Right.
So these two things really align with what I believe,
Right.
what I have been brought up with, and
Right. Now, the Salma Zahid 4 years ago when you got elected versus today as you're sitting in front of me, what have you learned? What have you accomplished? And certain things you wanted to accomplish, but you weren't able to, and if re-elected, would like to accomplish?
I think it has been a great 4 years. It has been an honor of my life to represent the people of Scarborough Centre in Ottawa in the House of Commons, and I have always been their strong voice in Ottawa and not Ottawa's voice in Scarborough Centre.
Right.
So we have accomplished a lot together.
Right.
So tax-free Canada Child Benefit was one of the first few initiatives which we took as the government, and I think it is really helping people.
Right.
In my riding alone, over 11,500 families are benefiting from that, which includes like about 22,000 kids.
Right.
They are benefiting, and when I talk to them, they tell me how much difference it is making. Where Harper was sending checks to the rich 1%,
Right.
we introduced tax-free Canada Child Benefit to help those who really need the help.
Right.
I have a family, Chauhan family, the Prime Minister also talked about it. He has my mother and 3 kids.
Right.
And they tells me that with tax-free Canada Child Benefit, he can afford to buy better groceries.
Right. The
Buy
basics.
back to school.
Yes.
Stuff for the kids.
Yes.
Enroll them in some extracurricular activities. So it is making a difference.
Right.
We increased the GIS supplement for the seniors.
Right.
Which is helping seniors to get out of poverty.
Right.
So, and we reduce taxes for the middle class.
Right.
So these initiatives help to pull over 300,000 kids out of poverty.
Right.
Poverty rate has gone down.
Right.
We have invested into affordable housing. We have invested into infrastructure.
And that's definitely a question
Yes.
that I will ask you. But you guys have in Scarborough Centre a riding, you have a Pakistani conservative running. How do you feel about this?
See, anyone can come in. It's a democratic country. I am running on my track record, what we have accomplished in the last 4 years,
Right.
and what I believe needs to, because I know we have accomplished a lot, but still, when I talk to the people of Scarborough Centre on the doors, they talk about the difficulties they are facing to make their ends meet.
Right.
We have to move forward.
Yes.
We have to continue investing into people.
Yes.
We can't afford cuts like what we are seeing in Ontario, what Doug Ford is doing.
Right.
Cutting to healthcare, cutting education. Teachers are being laid off. I will just give you a simple example. The last week when I was canvassing, a young 11-year-old boy opened the door. He said, "Oh, are you liberal? I love liberals because, conservatives are laying off the teachers, and my favorite teacher is no longer in the school because..."
Because the cut.
Yes. So when are you coming and putting up the sign at our house?
You should have given him a sign right there and then.
Yes. So as soon as I went back to the office,
right.
I told my husband, I said, you have to go and put this sign out.
And make sure the kid knows that we put it on there.
So this is...
Right.
We can't afford, we have to invest in Canadians.
Right.
And all along we have, in the last 4 years, we have invested into Canadians.
Right.
In my riding, through Canada Summer Jobs, this year, $1.2 million came to my riding.
Right.
Which was given to different organizations to hire youth during the summer.
Right. Now I'll come to housing prices, and I know you mentioned a little bit about it, but housing prices in the GTA are out of control. You agree with me on this?
Oh, yes.
What are you doing for the affordable housing?
See, we, for the first time in the history of Canada, federal government is a partner in the for 10 years. Federal government has not been there when it comes to housing.
Right.
We have formulated a national housing strategy, and we are giving incentives to the first-time home buyers. We are giving incentive to the builders to build rental units.
Right.
We are investing into the affordable housing. So the Prime Minister came to Scarborough to announce $1.3 billion over the next 10 years for Toronto community housing unit, because the councillor and the mayor told us that they would have to close some units.
Right.
So in my riding, renovations are happening at 400 McCowan, 370 1951 many units are being repaired because otherwise they were not in a livable situation. So we have to make sure that we invest into affordable housing.
Right.
Housing is a human right.
Right. Well, there you have it. Salma Zahid says housing is an affordable right. And I want you to know that we will be back after this short commercial. We're going to talk to Salma Zahid about carbon tax and Justin Trudeau's brown face. Please stay with us and keep watching House of Commons. Welcome back to House of Commons with Sammy Ijaz. Joining me today is Salma Zahid, who is the MP of Scarborough Centre, who is also now the candidate for the upcoming federal elections for the Liberals. Salma, welcome back. Salma, let's talk about the carbon tax. I know this tax has been implemented in April. So tell me more about it. I know that you guys are taxing. आप लोग टैक्स कर रहे हैं जो नॉर्मल कॉमन इंडिविजुअल है. जब हम ऑयल एंड गैस कंपनीज की बात करते हैं तो आप उनको 80% एग्जेम्पशंस दे रहे हैं. तो आपको लगता है कि ये फेयर है कॉमन मैन के लिए?
We have to tackle climate change.
Right.
Economy and environment go hand in hand.
Right.
And the way you are seeing what's happening around the world.
Right.
The examples are in the form of floods, and we have seen, which we used to say, जो आगे 40 साल बाद floods आते थे,
Right.
हम लोगों ने देखा है कि अटलांटिक कनाडा में तकरीबन हर साल हो रहा है. So अपने बच्चों के
दुनिया खत्म हो रही है.
अपने बच्चों के फ्यूचर के लिए
right.
मेरे दो बच्चे हैं, एक 21 साल का, एक 19 साल का. बच्चों के फ्यूचर के लिए ये जरूरी है कि हम क्लाइमेट चेंज को अभी टैकल करें. कंजर्वेटिव्स डोंट बिलीव इन क्लाइमेट चेंज. ठीक है, वी हैव पुट प्राइस ऑन पोल्यूशन बिकॉज पोल्यूशन कैन नॉट बी फ्री. और उसमें ये है कि ओंटारियो में, क्योंकि जब डकफोर्ड आए तो उन्होंने दे ऑप्टेड आउट ऑफ दैट प्रोग्राम, उसमें जो हम लोगों ने प्राइस ऑन पोल्यूशन इंट्रोड्यूस की है, अगर वो उसके ये गैस के थ्रू अगर उनको कुछ ज़्यादा देना पड़ेगा, उनको वो रीबेट जो है टैक्स जब फाइल करते हैं ओंटारियंस, उनको वो वापस मिल गई है. In April, when people filed their taxes, एक एवरेज फैमिली ऑफ 4 जो लोग हैं उनको $307 रीबेट में वापस मिले.
और मुझे लगता है कि मोस्ट जो हमारे व्यूअर्स हैं उनको ये नहीं पता कि उनको ये रिबेट मिला है.
जी, ये जो लोग टैक्स है, हम लोग हमेशा इनकरेज करते रहे हैं लोगों को कि जी टैक्स फाइल करें. और जब आपने टैक्स फाइल किया है, एक एवरेज फैमिली जो है 4 लोगों की, उनको $307 रीबेट में वापस मिले हैं, विच इज़ मोर देन व्हाट एक्चुअली.
अब हम फैमिलीज़ की बात कर रहे हैं और फैमिलीज़ एज यू वुड नो बहुत टफ टाइम उनको मिल रहा है कि वो जो टू मेक देयर एंड्स मीट फाइनेंशियली व्हाटएवर. अब आप मुझे ये बताएं कि आपकी लिबरल गवर्नमेंट क्या कर रही है इन फैमिलीज को हेल्प करने के लिए?
देखिए, हम लोगों ने जो मेजर्स लिए हैं, रिडक्शन ऑफ टैक्सेस फॉर द मिडिल क्लास पीपल और टैक्स फ्री कनाडा चाइल्ड बेनिफिट, एंड एवरेज मिडिल क्लास फैमिली इज $2,000 बेटर ऑफ पर ईयर एज दे वर बैक इन 2015 अंडर हार्पर एरा. लेकिन अभी हमें ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत है. अभी रिसेंटली अनाउंस किया है लीडर ऑफ द लिबरल पार्टी ने कि इफ़ इलेक्टेड जो है कनाडा चाइल्ड बेनिफिट उन लोगों के लिए जिनके बच्चे 1 साल से कम है, उसको हम और बूस्ट करेंगे. दैट विल सेव देम एडिशनल $1,000. ठीक है. इसके अलावा हम लोग जो है वो सीनियर्स की ओल्ड एज सिक्योरिटी को वंस दे रीच 75 years it will increase by 10%. The survivors benefit will increase by 25%. So ये कुछ ऐसे मेजर्स हैं जिसके थ्रू उनको और ज़्यादा हेल्प मिलेगी.
अब मुझे ये बताएं, थोड़ा सा एक मज़ेदार टॉपिक है और हर बंदा इसके ऊपर बात कर रहा है. रिसेंट पिछले लेस देन अ वीक अगो एक तस्वीर निकली है जस्टिन ट्रूडो की, जहाँ पे उसने ब्राउन फेस लगाया हुआ है, अलादीन बना हुआ है, जो भी है. अब स्कार्बरो में बहुत सारे एथनिक लोग हैं. आपके मुताबिक कितना को इफेक्ट आया है उसका ये जो तस्वीर निकली है, और जो अपकमिंग इलेक्शंस हैं, और जो जस्टिन ट्रूडो को कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं रेसिस्ट है, ये है वो है, इसके ऊपर आपका क्या ख्याल आता है?
देखिए, सी द ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड.
ओके,
जो पिछले 4 साल में काम हुआ है. सबसे पहले जो है 2-tier सिटीजनशिप को जस्टिन ट्रूडो ने एंड किया एंड मेड श्योर दैट अ कैनेडियन इज अ कैनेडियन इज अ कैनेडियन. जो काम पिछले 4 साल में हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने किया है टू बिल्ड अ मोर इंक्लूसिव कनाडा एंड टू मेक श्योर दैट डाइवर्सिटी रिमेन्स वन ऑफ आवर बिगेस्ट स्ट्रेंथ, वो कभी भी कैनेडियन हिस्ट्री में नहीं हुआ.
Right.
ठीक है, मैं आपको I represent a very diverse riding. People from across the world live in my riding.
Right.
ठीक है, he has done so much work to make sure that everyone counts in. I am a woman of color wearing hijab.
Right.
In the last 5 years, what I have seen is he's a down-to-earth person and wants to make sure that everyone is a part of it.
Right.
मैं भी कुछ हेल्थ क्राइसिस से भी गुजरी हूँ और अप्स एंड डाउन्स आपके आते हैं,
Right.
ठीक है,
Right.
जिस तरह उन्होंने मुझे हमेशा सपोर्ट दी है,
Right.
it has been amazing. He has always stood by me.
Right.
ठीक है, you can see the results in the form of anti-racism strategy.
Right.
ठीक है, investments into different communities
Right.
to help them overcome their obstacles.
Right.
सीरियन रेफ्यूजीज़ की हम एग्जांपल देखें,
Right.
40,000 सीरियन रेफ्यूजीज़ आए हैं.
Right.
He helped them to get settled. Settlement services की जो फंडिंग है उसको इंक्रीज़ किया. रेफ्यूजीज़ का हेल्थ केयर जो है वो ख़त्म कर दिया था हार्पर गवर्नमेंट ने. सो वी हैव टू सी द ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड. मैं आपको बताऊं, मुझे फ़ोन कॉल्स आ रही हैं लोगों की, मैं डोर्स पे जा रही हूँ, दे आर सेइंग मूव ऑन, व्हाट हैपेंड 21 years ago doesn't matter to us.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, he was younger too, but you know what? The heat is still there. अब मुझे ये बताएं, बहुत सारे जो Canadian businesses हैं, local businesses हैं, small businesses हैं, और ये businesses कनाडा में बहुत सारी जॉब्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं. जो आपकी लिबरल गवर्नमेंट है, इन बिजनेसेस को हेल्प करने के लिए क्या कर रही है?
देखिए, हम लोगों ने पिछले 4 सालों में स्मॉल बिजनेस टैक्स जो है वो 11% से रिड्यूस करके 9% किया है, विच इज़ वन ऑफ द लोएस्ट इन एनी ऑफ द G7 कंट्रीज.
Right.
ठीक है, इफ इलेक्टेड वी विल प्रोवाइड इंसेंटिव्स विच हैव बीन अनाउंस्ड टू स्टार्ट अप स्मॉल बिजनेसेस. वी हैव रिड्यूस्ड रेड टेप फॉर द स्मॉल बिजनेसेस. मेरी जो राइडिंग है, दैट्स अ होम टू स्मॉल बिजनेसेस. एट वन टाइम वी यूज्ड टू रिलाई ऑन बिग companies, but now if you come and do a walk across Lawrence from Victoria Park to Bellamy, you will see small businesses and I'm proud of those entrepreneurs. Just yesterday I posted a video also, a Syrian
Right.
refugee family which came to Canada in 2016 with his mother and his kids. Last year he started a restaurant along Lawrence by the name of Aleppo Kebabs, and
Right.
it is one of the hub now. See, he came to Canada,
Right.
started a business, and now he is employing people, creating more jobs.
Right. Right. And this is a local business.
And
small
yes,
business.
it's a local business, and
Right.
I'm very proud of the Liberal government that it recognizes that small businesses are the backbone of the economy.
Right.
And
अब ट्रूडो ने प्लेज किया है कि वो कैनेडियंस के सेल फोन बिल्स को 25% कट करेगा. इसके ऊपर आपके क्या ख्याल आता है?
I think cell phones, everyone now has a cell phone.
Right.
In my house.
Sometimes
yes,
too.
yes. So in everyone
Right.
needs
Right.
Wi-Fi
Right.
and data. So I have 2 sons, so we have cell phones. So I think it's important that because in order to make life better
Right.
for the middle class families, that we make it more competitive. And like
Right.
he has said that if elected, the cell phone bills will reduce by 25%,
Right.
and that
Right.
will save up to $1,000 to the families.
Right. Nowadays we are in talks of pharmacare. Tell me more about pharmacare.
देखिए, I've been hearing a lot on the pharmacare in the last 4 years,
Yes.
and every door I knock,
Yes.
seniors, families, everyone needs a pharmacare.
Right.
And I know it can be very expensive.
Right.
मेरा personal experience है कि if the
Medications.
prescription drugs are very expensive,
Right.
and we have to make sure that people don't have to make a choice that whether they buy food or
Right.
whether they have to pay for
So
their
the
health care.
compromising of health.
Yes, and
Yes.
today the Prime Minister has announced in Hamilton that if elected, there will be a universal pharmacare. I think it's a big.
It's a big statement.
It's a big step. I
Right.
have been
It's a
fighting
big
for.
statement, yes.
I have been fighting for pharmacare in the last 4 years, along with almost every caucus colleague of mine, and
Right.
we are very proud that if elected, we will move towards implementation of the universal pharmacare. I think it will be a big help to all the families in my riding,
Right.
as well as in Canada from coast to coast to coast.
Right. Now elections are in October, and you're excited?
Oh yes, definitely.
Because I think anybody now in Canada is excited. I think the election vibe of the federal elections has become very strong, and everyone's talking about it. So now you're going for a re-election. I'll ask you this: Why you? Why you again? And I want you to tell the Scarborough Centre individuals looking directly into that camera why you, and why they should choose you.
I am asking you to support me on October 21st because it's important that we move forward. We, The Liberal Party believes in investing in Canadians, making sure that everyone is a part of the flourishing economy in Canada and not go back to Harper cuts. And we are seeing already in Ontario what the cuts of the Doug Ford are doing on healthcare and education. So my request to everyone is vote Liberal and let's move forward, choose forward on October 21st.
Thank you, Salma. Well, there you have it. Salma Zahid, MP of Scarborough Centre, who is now the candidate for the Liberal Party in Scarborough Centre. We asked her some good questions. She had some great answers for us. Keep watching House of Commons. We will be bringing more candidates from all parties and all various cities in Canada. So keep watching House of Commons. I'm your host, Sammy Ijaz, and you guys are watching Canada One TV. To email us, to leave comments, please email us at info@canada1.tv. As well, comment in the box below because we love reading your comments. Thank you very much.